I think that this is probably the most unbelievable time in generating new data from human lupus patients. I've been doing this a long time, and we've studied mice for a very long time. I think now there's really been kind of a transition to know that to understand and to cure human lupus, we need to study patients who have lupus. We've seen the first ever lupus prevention trial just finished. Even though it may not be wildly successful, we have many other opportunities to think about early intervention so that maybe we can prevent the next generation from not having as many lupus patients.
It's a very exciting period, and I think we're gonna be looking at new approvals also in the near future.
Yeah, I think this is the most hopeful time that we've ever had for lupus. I think the cellular therapies and the chance that we may be able to cure some patients is really exciting.
I mean, lupus is becoming something of real interest, and the best way to find solutions for a problem is to get people interested. I'm very happy with these times, actually, because I think we are slowly getting out of the dark zone and entering into the light. We have new treatments, new approvals. There are, I believe, many more treatments coming. And what we heard at the conference, precision medicine, it's not here, but I think it will be here in the next years. Artificial intelligence. So I think it's really like a turning point.
What we call patient empowerment is key to success to a better and more holistic management of the disease. So in this regard, in order to develop patient empowerment, you have to actually educate your patients.
So definitely we are in a very good position to prescribe new drugs, even biologics and some new drugs. We have some like a regulatory process, but once you complete that process, they can access for medical care in whether if they are from Spain or not, or whether if they are low socioeconomic status or high. I think we are living in a very good season for lupus patients. We have the same feeling 10, 15 years ago for rheumatoid arthritis patients, and definitely the disease changed. And now I think we are living the same moment for lupus patients. Treat earlier, treat better.
Oh yeah, this is the first time that I can say that there are a lot of trials finally. We have had no new drugs in about 75 years.
We're going to know a lot about the subtypes at the level of pathogenesis of the disease, and we will be able to recognize, identify them much easier, right? And this will give us the opportunity to tailor treatments.
We all know that hydroxychloroquine is a cornerstone treatment in systemic lupus. Most of our patients are on this, and people can get diagnosed with lupus in their 20s or even earlier, and we expect them to live to be their 80s or hopefully longer.
Most important is glucocorticoid, approved for any disease in 1955. But since then, more than 60 years, nothing has been changed. For instance, mechanism of SLE has been clarified. Pathological mechanisms have been clarified. And then the target molecules are also notified by such as basic science. One of them is, for instance, interferon, cellular buff, or B-cell pathway. So now also we have a good weapon to targeting such a special target using biologics.
I hope that in 5 or 10 years we will be much more, we will know much more and will be more able to predict which patient will respond to which drug. Because if we're going to have 10 or 15 more drugs by that time, we'll need to know to whom we'll have to deliver each drug. So I think progress in the field of personalized medicine and treatment will be one of the most, if we manage it, one of the most important progresses.
The pipeline of drugs for lupus and lupus nephritis in particular has been really phenomenal lately. After we got the first 2 approved drugs, the interest in lupus because we had a pathway for approval with the regulatory agencies, the interest in lupus and lupus nephritis has skyrocketed. But using either one's own cells or sort of off-the-shelf cells that are made to be hypoimmune so they don't get destroyed when they're put into a patient have provided some really provocative data suggesting that we may be able to control the disease without maintenance immunosuppression for a prolonged period of time. As more and more drugs get approved and more trials are being conducted, I think we're going to benefit the entire community over time.
The field has changed a lot. I feel that we are working more in a collaborative way. I believe that treatment is going to be quite different in probably in 5-10 years. It has changed during the past 20 years in a very rapid way, and mostly in the last 5 years. So I believe that in the next 5 years we're going to see many changes in the way that we treat patients.
Treatment. 10 years ago we were very limited regarding treatment in lupus. And now you go to this kind of conferences and they're presenting positive data on 4, 5, 6 new drugs. That was, I think, unthinkable 10 years ago. So that is by far, I think, one of the best improvements that we're seeing for our patients. And second, probably what you were mentioning, that the patients are getting involved in every step of the way, in research, in care. And I like the way this is going.
Well, first off, that we have had no new drugs, and now we actually have some in the pipeline that look very exciting and I think will make a really big difference for patients. And in particular with cutaneous lupus, you want to treat people early before they get a lot of involvement so that they might end up with scarring or hair loss. And so the idea that we may have things that work quickly and are relatively safe is really going to be helpful.
And again, I think we don't know long term like how good that cure will be. But I think this is the first time we can look at a patient and say, this might not be forever. And I think that's really exciting. And there's a lot to work through till we know how to use these therapies well, which patients are going to benefit the most, what the long-term side effects are, etc. But I think the whole field has been like turned on its head, and we've learned so much about autoimmune disease by having all sorts of drugs that have sort of helped patients get better, right? But now it's like snowballing down the mountain. Like things are going so fast, and I think in 10 years from now, it's going to be a very different conversation in terms of how we take care of our patients. So I'm very excited about that. And then 10 years from now, we might be approaching getting things approved by the FDA for that type of work, and thinking about, now we'll be studying which patients should we be putting on it, and like biomarkers for CAR T response. It'll be, the research will have shifted to like which are the patients that we're going to put through to something like that could be curative.
I think a lot of what the new drugs offer is a remarkably tolerable side effect profile.
It's also quite understandable that a person who has to deal with a lifelong disease, with an unpredictable character, with many complex issues that are not always recognized so well in the healthcare system, that they could feel a bit lonely and isolated. I think we will see some therapies that can actually offer a very long-lasting remission, meaning that the patient is free of disease, does not have the manifestations, and also doesn't need to get lots of treatments all the time. We're beginning to understand what's behind it, what's beneath the surface, what immune mechanisms are causing these diseases, and it's different things in different patients. I think in the 5 to 10 year perspective, we're going to call these things by name and say that your disease, whatever the label is that your doctor puts on it, is caused by this specific problem in your immune system. And now that we've identified it, we can also do something about it. So that's what I think will happen in the longer term.
That is an era of, that's an excitement for me that I just hope I can live on and see it.